Are you or a loved one disabled? Do you feel alone, lost, and confused as to how to win your Social Security case? If you're watching this video, it's probably because you have so many questions and you're desperately looking for the answers. Hi, my name is Avi Leibovic, and I'm the owner at Benefits for All and the lead attorney at Avi Leibovic Associates. Over the course of my 20-year career, I've overseen the processing and screening of over 500,000 disability cases, working with the largest hospitals, neighborhood clinics, primary care physicians, and even individuals who had no access to care at all. My strategies for how to win the case have made me one of the top experts in Social Security law in the entire nation. My life and my career were going great. And then one day it all came crashing down. It started first with some abdominal pains. And before I knew it, I'd been admitted to the hospital several times and I required multiple surgeries. I found myself unable to work and disabled and in desperate need of my own benefits. I understand exactly how you feel. I was in your shoes. And I'm going to take you through the process and help you and give you everything that I know so that you can win your case. I'm recovered and I'm back at work. And I have a newfound passion for helping disabled people because I myself have been there too. Call our office today for a free screening and to see how we can help you with your Social Security case. At the same time, enjoy these videos and webinars that we've prepared to help you understand how to win your Social Security case. Hey everyone, this is Avi Leibovic and you're watching another one of the amazing webinars offered by Benefits for All, where we teach you how to win your Social Security disability case without having to hire an expensive attorney. I always begin many of these videos by saying that I'm not saying you shouldn't hire an attorney. In fact, if the process of applying for benefits on your own and collecting all the medical evidence and submitting the forms and going to the hearing on your own seems a little bit overwhelming, or perhaps your medical condition is not, putting you at 100%, and you need the help of an attorney or a non-attorney hearing representative who knows the law, who's familiar with the policies, procedures, and regulations of Social Security, I encourage you to go with an attorney. But let me tell you, I've represented tens of thousands of clients over the years, and many of them have told me, I think I can do this on my own. So this video series, this webinar series is designed for all of you who decide, who think, who believe, who hope that they can go ahead and represent their cases on their own. I encourage you to do that if you can do that. Save yourself some money. So these are designed to give over that information to teach you how to do that. But once again, I always encourage you to think very carefully about this and to go ahead and perhaps consider an attorney. The topic for today is the win rates in New York State. That's right, approval rates versus the unfavorable rates in New York State. We're standing right off of the Hudson River, looking at the Tappan Zee Bridge. It's a beautiful day, tiptoeing into October 2016, and let's jump right into it. When we go ahead and we talk about New York, and we talk about what the win rates are in New York, New York is one of those states where you're kind of at the national average with both of the things. You're not really ahead in any of the areas, you're not really below at any of the areas, you're kind of more or less hovering right there, which makes it, I would say, a more difficult state to win unless you truly are disabled. Now, obviously, in every case, you really should be disabled, but there are those states where they look a little more favorably on some of your medical conditions, they look a little more favorably on your medical records, they look a little more favorably in general on your application. So even if you're not as disabled as you should be, or even if the medical evidence doesn't necessarily point to a clear-cut disability, you still have some of the odds in your favor because the statistics in that state lean towards and favor a little bit the claimant. In New York, you're kind of right at the line over there, so let's just jump right into it. Just as a reminder for those of you who've been watching these webinars regularly and who've been following and learning and studying, I want to refresh everyone's memory that we begin with what? We begin with an application. Hopefully your application gets approved, but if it doesn't get approved, it moves over to a request for reconsideration. Hopefully the request for reconsideration gets approved, but if it doesn't, it moves on over to the request for hearing before an administrative law judge. And then from there, if you decide you want to go forward, you have the appeals council for Social Security Administration, and then eventually the district court, federal district court to appeal even a denied a denied or unfavorable review by the appeals council. So once again, when we're dealing with New York State, the application approval rate is 38%. 38% of you, excuse me. So let's jump right in. When we're dealing with New York State, the approval level at application is 38%. That means out of 100 applications, so let's jump right into it. When we're dealing with New York State, the approval rate is 38%. That means out of 100 applications, 38 of you are going to get approved. The national rate, maybe this is impossible. So let's jump right into it. When we're dealing with the approval rate for New York State, the approval rate for New York State on the application level is 38%. So 38%, that means, again, for those of you who want it on more simplified terms, out of 100 applications, maybe one of these days I can get the lines out. So let's jump right into the application approval rate. The application approval rate in New York State is 38%. On a more simple level, for those of you who want to understand it, So let's jump right into it. We're dealing with New York State. Let's talk about what the application win rate is. In New York State, the application win rate, a favorable decision on an application, is 38%. That means out of every 100 applications that are submitted, 38 of them are going to be approved. Now, what is the national average? When we're dealing with the national average is actually 31.9. So as I said before that New York is pretty much at the line, that's true in everything except for applications. The national average for approvals is 31.9%. If you live in New York State, you have a 38% chance of winning. Just about 7 points, a little bit more than 7 points, favored in your decision to win your case. What does that mean? That means that you really want to nail it on the application level. You want to make sure that your application is submitted perfectly. You want to make sure that it sparkles. You want to make sure all the forms are filled out correctly. If you watch these webinars, we will teach you how to fill out those forms correctly so you don't have to repeat it and you don't risk losing, because your application level, since it's above the national approval rate, your application level is really the best place for you to go ahead and win your case. You want to make sure your case, your documentation, your medical records, and everything about what you're going to submit to Social Security Administration and DDS is absolutely sparkling. Because when it gets to the reconsideration level, the national rate is 11.3. New York's win rate is 15%. Again, it's about 3.5–4% higher than the national average rate, but still, again, when you go ahead and you're dealing with a 15% win rate, you're talking about 85 of 100 applications are going to get denied. 85 of 100 applications. I don't know how many of you are into Las Vegas odds or the house. What are the house odds? The house odds is 85 out of 100 cases are going to get denied. The reconsideration has always been viewed as a weeding out process, a filtering process to separate out what? To separate out those people who perhaps don't have as strong of a case, who are just trying to maybe get some money, from those people who really truly are disabled and really truly need the benefits. They want to go ahead and prevent as many people as they can from getting to the hearing, the expensive hearing stage where it takes the time of the judges, the time of the vocational experts, the medical experts, and the ODARs to put everything together. They want to kind of just like knock them all out at the reconsideration level, okay? So again, if you're in New York State, the win rate in New York State at an approval level is still hovering at 38%. The win rate at a reconsideration level is 15%, which is a little higher than the average. But when you get to the hearing level, you really are at the national average, whereas the national approval average is 52.8 at hearing. The national approval average in New York State is 53%. You're really on par with the rest of the national average. Again, that means that you need to put your emphasis. Wow, look at that. You need to put your emphasis on the first part of the application, the first part of the reconsideration, because if you get it hearing, you really are at the national average. You have absolutely positively no numbers, data, statistics that are in your favor, and it's all going to depend on you. It's going to depend on your presentation of the case. It's going to depend on your medical evidence and whether you can show the judge clearly that you have everything that you need to win your case and establish disability at hearing. Once again, very quickly, we're not going to go through everything now in depth. You can download the webinar, but to win a hearing, we said you can't go in and say, ow, ooh, my back, my knees, my heart, everything is hurt. You're not going to win a case like that. the judge goes through a 5-step sequential disability evaluation. Those 5 steps really quickly are: number 1, are you earning SGA, which in 2016 is 1,130. If you are, you're finished. Step number 2 is, do you have a severe impairment or a combination of impairment that's expected to last 12 or more months and or resulting in death? Again, that means if you hurt your hip or you had some injury but only lasted 8 months or 10 months, you're not going to win. It needs to be 12 or more months. Number 3, does that impairment meet or equal one of the listings? Remember in that webinar, we talked about all the doctors getting together in the memory game where you have to match things up? Right, in the listings for step number 3, they have all the medical diagnoses and all the medical conditions for all the different parts of the body, and you need to show in your medical records that your diagnosis, your impairment exactly matches up with what it is that the Social Security doctors want to see. If it matches up, you're a winner at the hearing level. If not, you got to go to step 4. What was step 4? Can you return back to your can you return back to your past relevant work history? Right? Can you return back to your past relevant work history? They're going to look to see, even with the medical condition, what is your residual functional capacity. If they feel that you're able to return back to your work, your past relevant work history, which could be any job in the last 15 years, they're going to go ahead and they're going to say, you know what, he or she can still compete at a competitive level, and you're going to lose. And number 5 is that if you can go back to your old job, if you're not able to go back to your old job, can you get any other job in the national economy? So that's what you need to establish at the hearing. And you're right at the national average of that win rate of 53%, right? The national average, you said, was 52.8. So 53%, if you want to go ahead and you want to win your hearing, you better not go in there and just say, ow, ooh, ee, ow, 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 ow. You need to present your case and lay it out in a 5-step sequential presentation, right? Your award, when you get it, your decision when you get it, will have the 5 steps in it. You will see the judge do the analysis. And my recommendation to you is to try to download or get your hands on a bunch of sample awards. So that way you can really go. We might have some on the websites with the names blacked out, obviously, and the dates blacked out to protect the innocent and the guilty, to protect the personal health information and the HIPAA information within, but you'll be able to see very clearly how the judge goes ahead and asks those questions. What else do you need to know? That from the time that you request your request for hearing, there's 348 days until the national average is until you get your hearing date before a judge, and in New York it's 350 days. So again, it's a touch under a year. It's right at the national average of 350. The national average is 348. And again, that's the time from when you submit your request for hearing until you actually get your date before a judge. So what does that mean again? Let's talk this out. You have 6 to 8 months, maybe even 10 months, depending on your district office, for just your decision level, for just your application level. What's going to happen? After 8 to 10 months, if you get denied, you're going to have to go to a reconsideration. The reconsideration is another 4 to 6 or 6 to 8 months, depending on how long it takes you to get them the information, depending on how long it takes the district office to process it. So you already have your 8 to 10 months, and you're adding another 6 to 8 months. And now you're going ahead and you're adding 350 days to get your hearing. So till you add up to 8 months, 8 to 10 months, and then the 6 to 8 months, and then the 1 year to 350 days, a little bit shy of 365. You're talking about a minimum from beginning to end, from when you start your application to where you go to hearing. You're talking about what? You're talking about very close to a year and a half, 2 years for this process. Now the payoff for the SSI right now, as we said, it's always a combination of 2 numbers. You have the federal amount and you have the state amount. The federal government gives the same amount to every state, and right now in 2016, that's $733, right? But in New York State, besides for the federal amount, New York State is adding on the state supplement of $87. So you have 87 plus 733, which gives you $820 per month per SSI for 2016 if you're approved. Okay, everyone has that? Again, it's $733 for the federal amount, plus $87 for the state amount, which gives you $820, right, if you get approved for SSI. With that, my friends, I'd like to say to my dear friends in New York State, New York, right? If I can make it there, I'll make it anywhere. It's up to you. New York. I have a terrible voice. Okay, I know. It's a good thing I didn't go into theater. It's a good thing I became an attorney. But there's nothing like New York. New York is unbelievable. It's a little bit tougher. It's a little bit rougher. You got to be a little more aggressive. You got to push for your rights. You got to push for your rights in the district offices and the ODARs, and even with the judges, right? Like you're driving, you got to just kind of wiggle in there. It's tough New York drivers. It's a tough New York State win rates for applications, for reconsiderations, and for hearing. A touch above the national average on applications, but pretty much at the national average when it comes to the recons and the hearings. With that, I thank you. It's an honor for me that you trust me. It's an honor for me to come before you and to share with you these gold nuggets. The Hudson River, the Tappan Zee Bridge. If you haven't been in New York, come check it out. They're building the new bridge. It was actually a huge accident about 2 weeks ago where one of the cranes fell on the Tappan Zee Bridge, and luckily no one was killed, but it really hurt someone. And just come check it out. I mean, it's unbelievable, all right? I look forward to learning with you again on one of the next amazing webinars by Benefits for All, www.and Benefits for All. My name is Avi Leibovic. If you feel again that you've bitten off a little bit more than you can chew and perhaps you need some big guns to come on in there and help you out, you can go ahead, you can give a call to our office. We're happy to give you a free screening, and we're happy to come and represent you if you need help at the hearing. If you feel that you have it under control, because these webinars are dynamite, right, then you can go ahead and you can continue to watch these webinars, okay? If all of you only understood how much these webinars could help you, you'd be running to buy them all. Because just having the knowledge, just having the insight, just having the appreciation of what is going on in the hearing, even what your attorney is talking about with the judge, will help you even be a better witness for your own case. It will help you provide the attorney with everything that you need, okay? New York State, nothing like New York, okay? Really, nothing like New York, the Big Apple, okay? It's an honor. Until next time, my name is Avi Leibovic, and Benefits for All, and I hope that you feel well, and best of luck to you on your application, your reconsideration, your hearing, and your claim for benefits for SSI and SSDI. Thanks a lot.